Hello, thank you for joining me for Cooped Up with the Carter. I'm Megan, a gallery teacher at the Carter Museum. Today we're going to be talking about Girl with Cat by Ammi Phillips. This is a really wonderful example of an early 19th century portrait. Ammi Phillips was an itinerant painter, meaning he traveled around from town to town offering to paint portraits of those who lived there and could afford it. Now take a look at this little girl's portrait here. Do you see what she's wearing? Yeah, it's this beautiful bright red dress. Now what kind of outfit do you think this is? Yeah, this is probably her Sunday best. This is not something you'd wear around the house every day. Now what else do you notice in this portrait? Behind her, she has this blue curtain kind of dangling back there. Now, I'm not sure if that's in front of a window or if that's just a device that Ammi Phillips used, because it was pretty typical in portraits from the period. He was very much so influenced by other artists who were working in the same style. Now, look again at this girl. What else does she have with her? Yeah, there are several props that you're going to notice in this painting. She's sitting on a very nice chair. She's also holding a book, and she's also holding a cat. Now, what do those things tell us about her? Yeah, if she has a book, it probably means that she is educated and knows how to read and likes to read. And the cat tells us that she's probably very sweet and likes to take care of animals. Now that's the thing about portraits. A good portrait shows you what someone looks like. A great portrait tells you a little bit more about the person, their interests, their personality. And that's what Ammi Phillips is doing here. But there's a little secret I want to let you in on. Ammi Phillips was an itinerant painter, as I said, who traveled around from town to town. And if you look at several of his paintings, you'll see that same red dress, and you'll see other little girls holding cats. That dress probably belonged to him. We don't know if the girl had a fancy enough dress for such a formal portrait. And painting girls with cats was just part of his style. He liked to show how sweet these girls are. Take a moment and look around your home. Do you have any portraits there? What were you wearing in your portrait? What things did you have with you? And what do all of those things tell us about you? Thank you so much for joining me today on Cooped Up with the Carter.
Hi y'all, my name is Diane, and I was a Carter community artist during the 2018-2019 season at the Carter Museum. Today on Cooped Up with the Carter, we're looking at Girl with Cat by Ammi Phillips. And for our activity, we're going to write our very own cinquain poem. But first, I want to read a poem to you by Jack Poletsky, just to kind of get us in the mood. It's called My Neighbor's Dog is Purple. My neighbor's dog is purple. Its eyes are large and green. Its tail is almost endless, the longest I've seen. My neighbor's dog is quiet. It does not bark one bit. But when my neighbor's dog is near, I feel afraid of it. My neighbor's dog looks nasty. It has a wicked smile. Before my neighbor painted it, it was a crocodile. Now, a cinquain poem doesn't follow that format. There are a few rules that we want to go over first. The first line has a general one-word subject. The second line has two vivid adjectives describing your subject. The third line has some interesting ing words, some action words that go along with your topic. The fourth line is a four-word phrase, again, that describes this topic. And then your fifth line is a very specific term that explains line A, like maybe the name of the topic you were describing. I'm going to read one that I wrote about my cat. She's an old cat. She just lays around all day, mostly in my lap, and her name is Biddy. Cat. Supple, subdued, lazing, lounging, purring, fluff puddle in my lap, Biddy. Now, let's go over here to the table and write one together. Okay, so we already went over the different rules for each line, but together we'll go over them again as we choose each line. All right, I think I'm gonna write one about my dog this time so she doesn't get jealous. Her name is Cricket, and she's a Chihuahua, so she's really tiny and she is kind of crazy and she barks all the time. Because this is what's considered a shape poem, people tend to write it with everything centered, so I'm gonna do the same thing. So the first line, a vague or general one-word subject, maybe a person or an animal, or maybe even your neighbor's crocodile. So I'm gonna start with dog. Okay. Next line is 2 vivid adjectives that describe the topic. So I'm gonna go with something that describes how tiny she is. I'm gonna say she's pint-sized. And something else for small. I'm gonna stick with the letter P because I like the way that sounds, and I'm gonna go with peewee. Next line is 3 interesting ing words, maybe to show some action, that go back to describing my dog. So if she barks all the time, thinking about some other words for barking like yelping or yapping or yipping. Maybe I'll come up with a bunch of other Y words, and I'm gonna put these here on my next line. Let's see if I can get this good and centered. Okay, now I did say that she likes to yap, which is another Y word for bark. So maybe I'll use that in my next line. So line 4, a 4-word phrase, or you could use 4 individual words if you still have a good list of words that will capture our feeling about the topic. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my feelings here because she barks all the time and she barks constantly. So I'm gonna say yapping because I like that again with the Y. How about sunrise to sunset? Yapping, sunrise to sunset. Okay, let's see if we can center this one. And then the last line 5, is just a very specific term that explains line A. So maybe a synonym or a specific name. In the poem about my cat, I used her last name. But since my dog's name is Cricket, that might be confusing. So why don't I just go with Chihuahua? Because that would also give some clues as to maybe why she acts this way. So now I'm gonna put Chihuahua for the last line. And there's my shape poem. Good luck writing your own. I can't wait to read them.